Some cars are built to dominate racetracks. Others are built to dominate stoplights. But every once in a while, two completely different machines collide in a comparison that feels almost unfair. On one side sits a carbon fiber Le Mans weapon, a mid-engine machine built in tiny numbers, engineered to embarrass Ferrari on the world's most famous endurance stage. On the other, a loud, supercharged American muscle car you could walk into a dealership and buy. This is the showdown between the Ford GT and the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. One costs $500,000. The other costs about the price of a loaded pickup truck. Yet when you compare the numbers, the gap between them is shockingly small. And that might be the craziest part of this story. To understand the modern Ford GT, you have to rewind to one of the greatest rivalries in racing history. In the 1960s, Ford went to war with Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The result was the legendary Ford GT40, a machine that crushed Ferrari and delivered 4 consecutive Le Mans victories. Fast forward 50 years, Ford decided to return, but instead of nostalgia, they brought cutting-edge engineering. The new Ford GT debuted in 2016, and it looked less like a traditional supercar and more like a Le Mans prototype that somehow escaped the paddock. The chassis? Full carbon fiber monocoque. Body panels? Also carbon fiber. Even the suspension used pushrod race car geometry, something normally reserved for endurance racers. But the biggest shock came from the engine. Instead of a screaming V8, Ford installed a 3.5-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6. Traditionalists hated it. Engineers loved it. Because the numbers spoke for themselves. 647 horsepower at launch, later increased to 660 horsepower. 550 pound-feet of torque. Power sent to the rear wheels through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 3 seconds. Top speed? 216 miles per hour. But the GT's real magic isn't straight-line speed, it's aerodynamics. Air tunnels literally pass through the bodywork. The rear wing moves automatically. The suspension drops in track mode to reduce drag. The entire car constantly adjusts itself for maximum performance. This thing isn't just fast, it's an aerodynamic science experiment. And Ford proved it worked. In 2016, the Ford GT returned to Le Mans and won its class, beating Ferrari again in the LMGTE Pro category. 50 years after the original rivalry, history repeated. While Ford was building a carbon fiber race car for Le Mans, Chevrolet was building something completely different, a monster. Meet the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. At first glance, it's just a muscle car. Front engine, rear-wheel drive, big American V8. But the details tell a very different story. Under the hood lives the LT4, a 6.2-liter supercharged V8 borrowed directly from the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. Output? 650 horsepower, and an absurd 650 pound-feet of torque. That's actually more torque than the Ford GT. The engine doesn't whisper, it roars. The supercharger whines like a jet turbine as the Camaro launches forward with brutal force. Buyers had 2 choices, a 6-speed manual for purists, or a lightning-quick 10-speed automatic, ironically co-developed with Ford. With launch control and sticky tires, the ZL1 hits 60 miles per hour in about 3.5 seconds. Quarter mile? Around 11.4 seconds. That's already deep into supercar territory. But Chevrolet wasn't finished, because the real insanity arrived with the ZL11LE package. The Chevrolet Camaro ZL11LE transforms the Camaro from muscle car into track weapon. Massive carbon fiber rear wing, front dive planes, aggressive splitter, and Multimatic spool valve dampers, the same technology used in professional racing. Then, Chevrolet took it to the Nürburgring. The result? A 7:16.04 lap time. That's faster than the Lamborghini Aventador SV, faster than the Ferrari 458 Italia. A Camaro, beating European supercars on the most demanding track on Earth. Suddenly, the comparison with the Ford GT didn't sound so crazy anymore. Let's put the specs side by side. Ford GT, 647 to 660 horsepower, 550 pound-feet torque. Mid-engine layout, carbon fiber monocoque, 0 to 60 miles per hour, approximately 3.0 seconds. Top speed, 216 miles per hour. Price, $450,000 plus. Camaro ZL1, 650 horsepower, 650 pound-feet torque. Front engine V8, 0 to 60 miles per hour, approximately 3.5 seconds. Top speed, approximately 198 miles per hour. Price, approximately $65,000. One car costs 7 times more, yet the performance gap is surprisingly small. The Ford GT is a precision machine. Everything about it is engineered for maximum efficiency. Low seating position, tiny cockpit, air flowing through the body. Driving it feels like piloting a road-legal race car. The Camaro ZL1 takes a completely different approach. It's brute force, refined by modern engineering. The LT4 V8 roars with classic American aggression. But underneath that muscle car personality is serious chassis technology. Magnetic ride control, massive Brembo brakes, track-focused aerodynamics. It's not just fast in a straight line, it's shockingly capable in corners too. Another huge difference is exclusivity. Ford built just over 1,300 GTs worldwide, and buying one wasn't simple. You had to apply to Ford, explain why you deserved the car, and wait for approval. Meanwhile, the Camaro ZL1 sat in dealerships. Anyone with the money could walk in, sign the paperwork, and drive home with 650 horsepower. No interviews, no waiting list, just raw American muscle ready to go. And that's what makes this comparison so fascinating. The Ford GT is the dream. Carbon fiber, Le Mans heritage, engineering without compromise. But the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 might be the miracle. Because every time one lines up next to an exotic and refuses to fall behind, it proves something incredible. The performance gap between supercars and muscle cars has never been smaller. Which raises a dangerous question for the entire industry. If a $65,000 Camaro can chase machines worth $500,000, how much performance do you really need to spend supercar money for?